Well, we're just now leaving the hotel, walking down the street and making our way to the Yokosuka Chuyo rail station. Not too many people were out this morning, and so we've got no problem going around in the streets, making our way there to the station. A little overcast today, a little cooler, much better than last weekend. Really appreciate the cool weather. Reminds us a lot of home there in the Northwest. Keeps us from getting our shirts and our pants and every article of clothing soaking wet over here when it's so hot and humid. So here's the station. We go inside there and look at the boards, make sure we head in the right direction. Leave it up to the two Garys to kind of pick and find our way along. The one that leaves, I believe it was 928 Aoto was the one that we were supposed to get on, the one with the green sign there. We're just going to double check here and take a look at the board. We're going to see how many stops there are before we get off at the Yokohama station. Red told me from the last one that I put up here on YouTube that I cut him off too much, so cut his head off in the photo. So we're going to make sure that doesn't happen this time. I'll take extra effort making sure to get his full face in each photo that I take of him. So here we are at the Yokohama main station. Really big station. Since 2004, they've been hauling 2 million people, over 2 million people a day. We just had to switch to another train here real quick. I've got just a short little video clip of it coming into the station. We're standing there in front. There she comes. You can see why if people fall off down onto the tracks or in front of those trains that something could happen to them. Here we are, we're walking around in this waterfront area, huge tourist trap, a lot of things going on. We look for the red bus. This is kind of a tourist bus that makes a figure-8 loop around these various buildings and parks. They also have a narrator on board, driver to drive, and the narrator on board to tell you where they're going and what some of the sights are. Of course, it's all in Japanese, so we didn't know what she was saying. Kind of like the little trolley buses there in the San Diego area that take you around. They made a few stops. As you can see, here's red, not cut off. We're looking at the map there to determine the closest stop to the Harley Davidson dealer. In just a second, you're going to see the Yokohama Marine Tower. Real tall structure there. For a few yen, you could go up in the top there and get a good view and some pictures. You'll see it occasionally as we make our way through this area. So that's our stop. We got off the bus. Now we're walking across the crosswalks here on some of these streets, heading over to the Harley Davidson dealer in Yokohama. Pretty soon we'll be there. It was kind of a disappointment. They didn't have as much clothing in there as what a lot of us were expecting they would have, you know, looking for Harley Davidson logos and with the Yokohama name on it. There's the outside of the building. There we're walking around to the front of it. That's the front doors that we went in. We also have a side door over there. There's other motorcycle dealers right there in the same spot with them. Here we are inside. I told Red to look around, find the favorite one that he likes, and I would get a picture of him. That's coming up here in just a bit. You'll see some of the prices of these things. Of course, this is all in yen. You just drop off a couple of zeros, and then you're looking at approximately how much in US dollars. There's 2,296 yen there. There's Red. He's stocking all those bikes there, looking them all over. There were some quite pretty ones. Pretty nice colors. There's another one here. 2,793 yen. Take your pick, folks. Which one do you want? Money's no object here. If you can afford to come in here and look at them, you can certainly afford to buy them. As you can see, 2014 models. Look at this one. 3,751,900 yen. That's a pretty one there. That one was really expensive. Okay, here's Red. He's taking the picture of a couple of them. The bike he liked the best is coming up here pretty quick. Some leather bags on that one. Here he is. That's the one he'd like to take back to the hotel. Yeah, now it's out of the Harley shop. We're going to go next door to kind of a combination drugstore electronics shop. Drugstore is on the bottom floor and the electronics shop is on the upper floor. Kind of like a Fry's back home. You know, a lot of electronics and cabling and memory and all that kind of stuff. Of course, PlayStation 4 right there and available. There's some of the guys making their way through, trying to understand in Japanese what it says. No English in there at all. It's all in Japanese. Here we are making our way back to the waterfront. There's that Yokohama Marine Tower again. We went through this area where there was some displays set up on our way to Chinatown. We'll get back to those displays later, the vendors and stuff. International Seamen's Hall. There, we're coming down to Chinatown. Got a lot of pictures in here. We also had lunch at one of the restaurants. Those pictures are coming up. There's a map of the area. A lot of small streets, most of them one way. Maserati came through, one of them there in front of the restaurant we ate lunch at, going the wrong way. Maybe he wanted everybody to notice him. This place is, as you can imagine, is real pretty at night with all the neon, just like over in Hong Kong. In fact, I saved for the end of the slideshow here some nighttime pictures, not taken by me. We weren't there long enough for it to get dark, but I did borrow some from the internet and put them on there. Some of the places that that you see in these pictures, you'll see at night at the end. Vendors everywhere, restaurants one after another. People trying to have you take their samples, and draw you in. A lot of beauty in some of these structures. I think that's some kind of a temple or shrine. Got several pictures here. Yeah, now we're getting to the restaurant that we had lunch at. We're standing out in front of it looking at some of their display. You'll see the Mama-san there at the door. That's her right there. They put us upstairs at a party table, nice big table that could seat all of us. There we are getting situated, getting ready to figure out what the menus have on them. No English. We finally, when the waiter came over to take our order, we pointed at various things and had him tell us what they were in the best English that the Chinese guy could muster. Here's some pictures of the menu. I wanted to get some duck, so I was asking him if that was duck underneath there, and he goes, "No, must take whole duck, must take whole duck." Well, I couldn't eat a whole duck. See, there's Red again, didn't cut him off. All in all, it was a pretty good meal. Had the one of the gals, waitress, take our picture here. And here's a picture of what the restaurant looked in back of us on the second floor. And then we went downstairs to pay our bill. This is behind the cash register. And here's that lady taking our yen. Some photos here out front. All of the restaurants, they display out front their various dishes so that they can advertise that way. You can order by number because they'll have numbers by them. Going down the streets again here. It's quite an eyeful. You go through here looking at all these vendors. Got a couple of short video clips coming up here in a bit also. Lots of vendors, and of course they're food vendors making their products right there, hoping that the smells will entice you. Here's kind of a goofy character, came along. He's got all kinds of stuff strapped on himself there on his bicycle. I don't know if he was trying to sell it or not. Probably was, because he had, look at it, he had numbers on there. I don't know. A lot of these ornate archways. I think that kind of indicates when you pass into Chinatown. Narrow street there, isn't it? Lots of these paper lanterns. I think the Japanese also have a lot of paper lanterns in some of their displays. As you can see, they're steaming these big dumplings. Here's Red trying some samples of barbecued pork. Notice I'm not cutting him off at the neck anymore. I'm very conscious here to keep everybody happy. There's some more of these restaurants. Here's some fruit and vegetables. Pretty nice display there. Sui Ro. Don't know what those Chinese characters are. Oh, I almost cut Red off there. Must have stepped into the picture. There's some duck hanging up in the window. Some pork there too. Peking duck barbecued. We're coming up to street vendors. A lot of chestnuts being roasted. Smells brought back a lot of memories of Hong Kong when the street vendors had come out at night and do that. Here's one place that had a machine doing it. The place there in Hong Kong, the streets there in Hong Kong, when they would do these things, they were just over big walks with propane burners underneath, and they would be turning them. And then right next to this place was a store where women were making dim sum, I think it's called. Well, they would take these pieces of dough and put filling in them and roll them up, you know, and kind of pinch them together and lay them on that sheet. And then they would steam them. Some of them made great big ones, as you saw in some of those earlier pictures. Chinatown wouldn't be Chinatown without rickshaws, so they had those there also. We could understand by looking at his signboard there, his sandwich board, the prices, but we couldn't tell how long of a ride you would get for what price. And he'd probably charge double if I sat in it anyway, so I didn't. Here's a place that sold raw fish and fish products. Here we're leaving the Chinatown. Look at these little cabs here. So we're getting out onto the waterfront there. Nice park. That's a ship that you can tour. It's an old ship, used to carry passengers back and forth between, I believe it was the United States or England and Japan. That fountain there, as you can see, was given to the city of Yokohama by San Diego. There was a bunch of divers out here. Kind of looked like to me people were doing their checkout dive. I'm not sure, but couldn't see any fish or anything that they were getting. Looks like they were just coming in. They had quite a sprawled out area there that was all roped off. There'll be some more pictures of that old ship. I can't remember the name of it. One of the fellows mentioned that last year he had talked to somebody who'd been on it back in the 30s, 80-some years old. I was looking out in Yokohama Bay, where right in the distance, way out there, was Osanbashi Pier. There'll be some pictures coming up with it here soon. Of course, a lot of folks trying to drum up some coin. Here's a fella that put on some entertainment.
みんな、これ楽しさわかんない人いますか？全員が初対面ですよ。しかも男4人。OK、踏ん張ってね、みんなお尻の下の椅子取るからね。潰れたらバレるよ。OK、大丈夫？ケツ上げて、鍛えてる？椅子ナンバー1、踏ん張れよ。ヘイ、頑張って。椅子ナンバー2、ケツ上げろ。ヘイ、タフガイ、ケツ上げて。3、ヘイ、チャーリー、ケツ上げろ。4、来たんすね。頑張って一輪車乗ってくるからごめん今のわざと今助ける OK リスナーバックヘイ君結構余裕だねナイスヘイチャーリー行くよごめんちびっこできたらこれ戻してもらっても大丈夫ですかありがとうこのおじさんちょっとピンチだからそっちからアプローチハワイコちゃんに拍手あげてくださいありがとうお父様お母様 起き上がっていいよ、4人様、4人中。実はこれ何も関係ないよ。僕の楽しみなの。今から本番。実は今日は後ろに。
Better not try that at home. Now here's this Osanbashi Pier. I'm probably butchering that name, but in Japanese it means big pier. And it's made with all of these, they're not 2x4s. They're wider than 3.5 inches, but I thought at first that it was teak, but it isn't. It's actually made from wood harvested in the Amazon area of Brazil. It's called ipe. It's ipe wood, spelled I-P-E. It's very similar to teak, resists insects, but it's heavier than water, so it sinks. It's really, really hard. The pier was built for, especially for passenger ships to come in, so people can get on and off these passenger ships. The pier itself is 430 meters long. There's the Yokohama Bridge, suspension bridge. 430 meters equates to 1,411 feet. It's just over 1/4 mile long. The design was made kind of in a low profile so that it wouldn't obscure. There you can see with my foot there how wide those are. So it wouldn't obscure the skyline there. It's got 2 or 3 levels, a parking level, a passenger, embark and disembarking level, and then a kind of a plaza, they call it, up above there. Okay, now we're getting into these areas where there's a lot of vendors set up, and this weekend must have been a special weekend for these various charities to set up. There was all kinds of booths for various charities that would try and get donations. They had some cheerleaders out here. It was a little cool today, so when they got done, they quickly put their wraps on. Of course, these guys were giving speeches in Japanese. Also, it's Oktoberfest. That ends tomorrow here in Yokohama. It's kind of strange listening to the oompa bands, the German music and stuff going on, and probably not a single German in the bunch. A lot of brats and a lot of beer flowing. A lot of people too. It's full of people. There you go, Oktoberfest. October 4 through October 20. Of course, some Bavarian designs here. Here's a couple of shots of the Yokohama Cosmo World. They got that huge Ferris wheel and a big roller coaster and a log flume ride, kind of like Knott's Berry Farm. And believe it or not, they have a Cupnoodles Museum. Great big building. So we went in there, we paid our 500 yen to check out the Cupnoodles Museum. Instead of Mickey Mouse, there's the Cupnoodles duck. Actually a chick probably, because it's chicken flavored. Just tons of people in this place. And of course the story of this guy working in his garage for a whole year, kind of like Steve Jobs, This guy's working in his garage a whole year, only sleeping 4 hours a night trying to perfect this cup of noodles recipe. This room here had all around the room all the various products from when they started. I think it was in 1958. Just some pictures taken of inside on the different floors. They had a mock-up of his garage here. It was full of people, so I didn't take a picture inside. the invention of chicken ramen. Each beginning started from a 360-degree perspective, whatever that means. A eureka moment, ramen served in a cup. Before that, it was just in a package, and there's some top of ramen art. Working together to enrich the world's eating habits with instant noodles. Okay, here's Red again. He didn't get cut off here either. Here he is warming up to the guy. Well, an image of the guy. He's been dead since, I don't know, 98 or something. But look at these people jammed in here. For some extra coin, you could make your own noodles for a cup of noodles. Soup. Big, long line of folks here wanting to make their own noodles. Pretty noisy, too. Then there's Cupnoodles Park. Again, for a little extra coin, your kids could play on various things here. They had some roller slides. Look here, roller slides coming out of what looks like, cases of cup of noodle soup. Here's the dry dock. One of the dry docks, of course, that was used during World War II. Building there above it. At the end of it there, hotel in the top part there. So a dry dock is next to a big mall there. Hard Rock Cafe's inside. Got a picture of that. And over here they've got Krispy Kremes, as you can see right there. Here, I'll get a closer picture. Krispy Kreme donuts. How about that? There's the Hard Rock Cafe. And right next to the Hard Rock Cafe, coming up here pretty soon, is their souvenir shop. They call it the Rock Shop. I was wanting to get a denim jacket in there for Georgia, but they just don't seem to carry the same nice denim jackets. Well, looks like we're pretty much done for the day. We're heading back to the rail station to find the train to come back to Yokosuka here. Again, you got to watch the boards and make sure you're on the right line. You don't want to be swept away by some of these over 2 million people a day. We've got 11 rail lines that come in and out of here. So pretty soon we'll be on our train. It's about a half-hour ride, close to it, I guess. And then I'll show you these nighttime shots of Chinatown.
Check for the picture. Second life.
Here they are. Lots of neon at night, just like it is in Hong Kong. They sure wouldn't allow that back home. There you can see those paper lanterns lit up. Only takes half an hour to get through this slideshow, but I think start to finish, we were probably, after leaving the hotel and getting back, we were gone 8 to 9 hours. A lot of walking. I think all of us wanted to get off our feet. Isn't that gorgeous? What a pretty color. Well, everybody, thanks for bearing with me here. I didn't know it was going to take 30 minutes to run this through, but till next time.